Today's video is going to be a bit more of a talkative one, which is why I'm on my bed. I have my dog slippers on. I literally just got these today. They're my favorite thing ever. And I just wanted to have a kind of sit down video where I just answer some of the questions that you guys have been asking me. So this is actually a video I've had in mind for a while, and I put out a post the other day saying, what do you guys actually want me to talk about? What do you think I should give advice on? All that kind of stuff, because I am in my final year of secondary, and I thought maybe for people who are going into secondary or going into year 10, year 11, or just anyone in general. So I have compiled a list of all the questions that you guys asked me. I have them on my laptop right here, and we're just gonna sit down and I'm gonna answer some of them. So let me know if there's anything that I didn't mention in this video that you'd like me to talk about or anything like that. The first one I got a lot of questions about was general mental health kind of stuff. The first one was kind of about anxiety about tests and schoolwork and just school in general, which I feel like everyone has to an extent. Everyone gets stressed and worried about school. That is just a normal part of life. I do understand that sometimes more than others and some people more than others it does get a lot, and it varies from person to person. Obviously for me, I have always, that's just the person I am. I have always stressed about school to a huge extent. So like I said, I am in my last year of secondary school, so I do have a lot of exams coming up and a lot of general school pressure, but it does mean that I've learned a lot of different kind of ways of dealing with it and making it a lot less of a burden, kind of. So the first one is kind of a conditional one. It doesn't apply to everyone. If you have certain people that you can surround yourself with who are going to make you feel a bit less stressed and are going to take your mind off things for a while, spend more time with them. For me, that's my family. Like I said, I understand that isn't the case for everyone. Not everyone has friends and family that they can go to. I do understand that. I have been through a lot of different situations, different people, but if that is an option for you, definitely take advantage of it. If that isn't necessarily your situation, I would say just find anything that takes your mind off school and exams and anything like that. And that doesn't mean that you have to give up doing studying, because I know that doesn't help at all, but just finding time for other things. So for example, reading before you go to bed, or sometimes if I don't have the energy to read, I will crochet, or I'll honestly just watch a YouTube video. I honestly wouldn't recommend going on TikTok, Instagram, any of the short form content kind of apps. Something like YouTube, which has long form videos, I think are really useful. Even if you completely zone out and just do something else while this video is on in the background, it takes your mind off studying and school for a while, and that's honestly what I do. Honestly, that could just be any hobby that you have. So for me, crocheting, reading, occasionally writing, but honestly I don't have the energy for that a lot of the time. And like I said, also just completely zoning out to a video or music and doing something else. I also like journaling as well. I have my journals up there on my bookshelf. I really love that, especially junk journaling, because you get to accumulate things that you've had for the last few weeks, and you can kind of stick them together in a specific layout or whatever, and it's a really good creative outlet for me, I think. And like I said, it's a very good distraction. The next one was about friends and relationships. I'm gonna try really hard to not overshare my entire life on the internet right now, because I do have very diverse experiences with friendships and everything like that. Relationships, I'm not a pro on. I've had 2 relationships. One lasted for a month and one just ended a few months ago. Like I said, I'm not great at that stuff. Okay, let's start with friendships, because I can give some advice on that. Okay, so if you're kind of entering secondary school or quite early in secondary school, year 7, 8, 9, I would say honestly just don't worry about it. I know that seems really general and unattainable, but honestly just don't worry about it. You will almost definitely find at least one other person who you connect with, you bond with, you form some kind of friendship with. I mean, for me, I had a friend group in year 7, I had a different friend group in year 8, and then I had a second friend group in year 8, and then I had a different friend group in year 9, and then a slightly different friend group in year 10, and now I have a completely different friend group in year 11. So it definitely changes a lot, and there definitely will be people that you didn't think you'd ever be friends with and you now are, or there will be people that you're friends with now and you won't necessarily be as close with in the future. It is honestly so unpredictable, but you just have to trust that you will find someone, as much as it seems like you never will. And I know that's how it seems. I know that feeling so well, that it's never ever going to change. It definitely will, and I know that it will, because I have myself experienced it, and I've also seen a lot of other people experience it. So just know that things do change a lot, friend groups change a lot, friendships change a lot, people just change. Potentially some people that you think are really bad people now and you'd never want to be friends with them are people that you will be really close with in the future, because people do change. Okay, relationships, like I said, I'm not a pro. I had a 1-month relationship in year 8, which I don't even count because I was 12 years old. My advice for or if you're like kind of younger, like, go with it, just see how it goes. Like, the honest truth is that there are very, very, very few people who are going to get in a relationship, say at like 12 years old, and just stay in that relationship and get married to that person. Like, very rarely is that going to happen. So if you are having some kind of like issue with relationships, or everyone around you is being in a relationship and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not dating anyone, like what should I be doing about this? Like, none of those people most likely are going to stay together for like another year. Like, I don't think that there is a single couple in year 11 who has been together for more than like a year. So like I said, I did date someone in, I think it was year 8, it may have been year 9, but I think it was year 8, and like I said, I was fairly young, like not too young to like not know what dating someone even means, and I don't think that there should be a real age limit on dating. As long as you're happy, I mean, like whatever, actually who cares? But I was like quite young and I hadn't figured everything out, and I think that's a very common theme in a lot of relationships before, say, like 14, 15. Like, you don't know anything compared to what you'll know in a few years. So I think just take it as it goes, like take it each day at a time. However, if you are a bit older, if you're kind of like later in high school, my experience with this is very, very specific. I actually didn't come out to like anyone at my school, really. Other people came out for me. Like, I told a few of my friends and it just went round. Luckily for me, it like wasn't a huge deal. Like, people genuinely don't care about me. I'm like that kind of status where I'm not super popular, but also like people just don't care. So like people just heard and they were like, okay. And then I was like, hey guys, I'm low-key dating a girl, and no one cares. No one actually cares. Like, I know this does vary a lot depending on your area. I can't give a lot of advice for like most relationships just because I wasn't in a straight relationship. I wasn't dating a guy. So the advice I'm going to give is going to be very specific to if you are like queer or in a queer relationship. It is really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is really hard, not necessarily because of the way people act, because I think a lot of people, especially, you know, new generation, are going to be fine with it. Like, people don't care anymore. You know, there are going to be a few people who are like absolute idiots about it, but I mean, for me, I wasn't really, like, people still don't know my name. I've been with these people for 5 years and I bet you some of them couldn't even tell you my name. So for me, it wasn't a big deal because no one cares what I do. Like, I could genuinely throw myself off a bridge and no one would care because no one knows who I am. And that's the best status, I think, to be in. I know that coming out for a lot of people is a really big thing. Like I said, for me, it wasn't a big thing. I didn't really come out. There was this kind of like idea that other people could come out for me, and there were quite a few people who would just go around like telling people, not necessarily that it was a bad thing, but it was like, okay, do you need to be telling everyone this, or is that my place to tell people if I feel like it? There was actually a time where someone I'd dated in the past got told that I was now dating a girl. But yeah, like I said, there was just this kind of idea that anyone can tell anyone about you. For me, the hardest part of it was just like getting over the fact that not everyone is going to be okay with you being queer and not wanting to date the opposite gender, and you kind of just have to come to terms with that. It's a very long process, and still, anytime I get reminded of the fact that people are so unnecessarily like against queer people, it's like, oh my god, why are we still arguing about this? Like, why is this even a thing anymore? Generally, it doesn't affect you. I think the most important thing to remember is it doesn't affect these people. A lot of people are changing their views. I know my parents, actually, I thought that they'd be like really against me not being straight, and they like don't care. It's just like, okay, like date who you want. And I think that's just a reminder that there may be a lot of people that don't agree with just you existing, which I think is really terrible. But I think the majority of people that you meet don't care. The majority of people just couldn't care less. They don't even want to know who you're dating. Eventually, people will get over it. It's just like a passing thing. It is hard. It does get like slightly easier to accept, like, this is just me. I'm still the same person. It's something that you kind of come to terms with and get used to. Going away from that tangent, if someone asked me specifically about like anxiety and panic attacks, this is something I can relate to, and I know how hard it is, especially in my opinion, because it's not taken as seriously as it should be, just because I think people overuse like mental health terms so much that people don't take it seriously anymore. Honestly, I'm not even sure like what to say. I am not in any way qualified to be giving advice on this. I think my only advice is to just, you know, let someone know. There are a lot of issues in the organizations and training to do with mental health, and I have experienced that myself. I know how bad the system is for that. I actually do have like a personal kind of experience with this, because I had a teacher. He was one of the only teachers that actually like cared about the kids at the school, and he actually like pushed for me to have counselling with this school, provided it was only for 6 weeks, which I personally don't think is enough, but I understand like the whole system of it. So while I do acknowledge that the system is not anywhere near as good as it should be, and the help is definitely not always there, there definitely are routes to getting that help, and there are people that you can confide in, even if it doesn't lead to professional help, friends, family, teachers, anyone that you can find that you can talk to. I also think it's very important to be aware of your algorithms on social media. For example, like I will genuinely have to work so hard to keep like depressing stuff off of my TikTok, because sometimes I'll like one video and I will just get so many of these videos that put you into that headspace, because these social media apps are designed to give you more content that you've been liking, and if you surround yourself in these kind of things, that is all you're going to think about, that's all you're going to think there is to the world. And I have experience with that, and social media platforms make it worse deliberately. And there are a lot of people my age who I know are just like constantly surrounded with this messaging and these videos, and it does make you just think that's all there is ever. So I think it's just really important to be mindful of the kind of content that you're consuming. Like I said, if you're in that headspace already, it's very hard to get out of it. The next one is one that hits a little close to home after my mocks. I've just finished my GCSE mock exams, my last set of exams actually, which is kind of scary, and the burnout I had was insane. I just like absolutely crashed halfway through mocks, and I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this actually. And I do think that there is not enough support and awareness about how it is normal to just experience burnout and be tired. I think in the general like school system, it is so like expected of you to just be 100% all the time, never have like an off day ever, but that is normal. Like it is normal to experience burnout, it's normal to stress about things, it's normal to not be absolutely perfect and 100% every single day. Honestly, with burnout, I think I'm gonna reiterate my point from earlier and just say you need to find something outside of school to focus on, whether that's like a sport, an activity. For me, anything that's like doing something arty or crafts or anything like that, just something that isn't school related. And I think you just need to give yourself time. If you are experiencing burnout, if you're like so exhausted that you can't find the energy in you to do absolutely anything, I think it's really important to just give yourself that time you need, especially around now. I know a lot of people my age who are like in year 11 just going on to their GCSEs. I know it's very easy to just get like overwhelmed and stressed with everything, but I think for me, I'm kind of acknowledging that I need to give myself the time before my actual exams so that I am going to be at my best performance before the exams and I'm not just going to completely burn out. So I think there is no way to actually avoid burnout for me. I think it's just knowing how to manage it when it does come, and in a weird way I think you need to kind of manage when you burn out, letting yourself burn out now rather than later, if that makes sense.